You are standing before the greatest and most dangerous power ever discovered by man, your own mind. It is the instrument of all creation and all destruction, the source of every fortune and every failure, the workshop in which heaven or hell is constructed while you live. Yet most men live and die without ever learning to control it. They allow it to drift like a ship without a captain, tossed by emotions, ruled by circumstance, swayed by the noise of the world. But the few, the rare few who learn to master it, command reality itself. The mind is the governor of destiny. Every event, every fortune, every relationship, every circumstance is the offspring of a state of mind. You cannot control the seasons, the economy, or the opinions of others, but you can control your thoughts. And when you learn to control your thoughts, you no longer react to life, you direct it. For 30 days and beyond, I invite you to enter into a sacred experiment, to seize command of your mental forces, to discipline emotion, to detach from reaction, and to build a will so powerful that nothing external can shake it. Understand this first law. You are not your mind, you are its master. Most people live as though their thoughts were inevitable, their emotions involuntary. They say, I can't help how I feel, or I can't stop thinking about it. Such phrases are the anthem of slavery. Freedom begins when you recognize that thought is a choice. You can think deliberately. You can choose the tone, the direction, and the content of your inner world. You can decide what to amplify and what to silence. The untrained mind is like a wild horse. It obeys only when broken by discipline. Let us define the problem clearly. The average man reacts instead of responds. He mistakes emotion for truth, impulse for intuition, chaos for creativity. He believes that his feelings define reality, when in fact they only reflect his interpretation of it. The result is weakness. When insulted, he burns with anger. When praised, he swells with pride. When ignored, he collapses into self-doubt. His entire being is a puppet show pulled by the strings of circumstance. He is exhausted not because life is hard, but because his mind is undisciplined. Every day he awakens to a war within distraction versus focus, fear versus faith, laziness versus purpose. He loses this war not because the enemy is strong, but because his defenses are weak. He feeds his mind with noise, reacts to every emotion, and wonders why peace escapes him. But peace is not found by accident. It is created through command. The man who controls his mind lives in a different universe than the one who does not. He is calm in chaos, steady in pressure, and creative in adversity. His power is invisible but unmistakable. While others drown in their feelings, he rides them like waves. While others seek comfort, he seeks clarity. While others depend on approval, he depends on purpose. There are men who have mastered the marketplace, the battlefield, the boardroom, but the highest mastery of all is self-mastery. For if you cannot rule your thoughts, you cannot rule anything else. You may possess intelligence, education, and opportunity, yet remain weak if you are still a servant to emotion. Hill wrote, "If you do not control your mind, you do not control anything. It is not the world that binds you, it is your inner chaos." In the next 30 days, your task is simple yet supreme, to become master of your inner world. You will learn to stand as the observer of thought rather than its prisoner. You will learn to command emotion instead of obeying it. You will learn to detach from the noise of reaction and respond from the stillness of reason. For mastery is not suppression, it is direction. The first law of control is awareness. You cannot command what you do not observe. Begin by watching your thoughts as a scientist watches his instruments. When fear arises, do not resist, observe. When anger stirs, do not justify, study. When distraction pulls, do not curse, notice. You will discover that awareness alone weakens emotion's hold. For emotion thrives on unconscious reaction. It dissolves under conscious examination. You will notice, too, that your mind has habits, recurring themes of doubt, resentment, or impatience that operate automatically. These are not you. They are programs installed through repetition. Every habit of thought can be rewritten. Every emotion can be reconditioned. The mind obeys the law of repetition. What you dwell upon, you become. The first week of control is the week of observation. Do not attempt to fight your thoughts. Observe them. Keep a mental log of where your energy goes. You will find that most of your fatigue comes not from work but from waste, from emotional overreaction, from needless worry, from dwelling on what you cannot change. Realize how much energy leaks through ungoverned emotion. Awareness is the plug. The second law of control is direction. Once you have observed the chaos, you must replace it with order. The mind hates a vacuum. It will always fill itself with something. Therefore, after each observation of a negative thought, consciously replace it with a constructive one. If fear says, "I might fail," respond, "I am learning to win." If resentment whispers, "I was wronged," reply, "I am wiser now." If doubt murmurs, "I'm not ready," declare, "I am preparing myself daily." Each replacement is an act of spiritual engineering. You are redesigning your mind. Do not underestimate the power of this small practice. Every conscious redirection strengthens willpower. Every time you choose response over reaction, you reinforce control. Discipline is built one decision at a time. What you practice, you perfect. If you practice control for 30 days, you will begin to see that emotion is not a storm, but a signal. You can feel without falling, act without agitation, and think without confusion. The third law of control is detachment. Detachment is not indifference, it is intelligence. It is the ability to remain inwardly still while outwardly engaged. It is the art of participating in life without being consumed by it. Detachment is the difference between acting and being acted upon. The detached man still feels emotion, but he no longer mistakes it for command. He experiences life fully, yet he remains free. To cultivate detachment, begin each morning with silence. Sit still and observe your breath. Let your thoughts arise and pass without interference. This simple exercise practiced daily will show you that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. This is the foundation of all control. In your moments of practice, you may feel the pull of old habits, anger, anxiety, self-doubt. When they arise, say to yourself, "This is only a wave in my mind. I will watch it until it passes." The wave always passes. Every emotion, however strong, is temporary. But your awareness is eternal. The one who watches the emotion is greater than the emotion itself. If you will remember this truth, I am not the storm. I am the sky in which the storm appears. You will have already gained half your power. For detachment gives perspective, and perspective is strength. The world loses its power over those who no longer identify with its noise. The next law is mental discipline, the ability to direct your thought toward purpose regardless of mood. Mood is a luxury. Purpose is a duty. The man who depends on mood will never finish what he begins. But the man who depends on discipline will accomplish the impossible. Discipline means doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. Every act of discipline trains the subconscious to obey. Every act of indulgence weakens it. In this 30-day path, commit to one simple rule. Never allow mood to decide action. Let principle rule instead. Decide once what matters, and act upon it daily without question. Each time you act against mood, you strengthen mastery. Each time you obey mood, you surrender it. If you would build discipline, build structure, rise at the same hour, begin the day with silence, plan your work in advance, write your goals with clarity, the mind that is ordered externally becomes ordered internally. Chaos without breeds chaos within. Structure is the scaffolding of strength. But beyond structure, there must be purpose. Discipline without purpose becomes mechanical. Purpose without discipline remains fantasy. You must unite both. Define your central aim, your definite major purpose. Ask yourself, what is the one thing my life must stand for? What cause is great enough to command my will? Then align every thought, emotion, and action with that aim. Purpose simplifies everything. When you know what matters most, emotion loses its power to distract. Fear becomes irrelevant because the mission is greater. Doubt dissolves because the direction is clear. A definite purpose is the compass of the disciplined mind. Without it, you drift. With it, you move like lightning. Once you have defined your purpose, affirm it daily through autosuggestion. This is the process by which you impress your purpose upon the subconscious mind. Repeat it aloud morning and night until it becomes your second nature. I am calm, focused, and deliberate. My emotions serve my goals. I think clearly, act decisively, and remain in command. Speak these words not mechanically, but with feeling. Emotion is the voltage that charges thought. As Hill taught, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief is not mere hope, it is certainty, born of repetition and experience. You must saturate your subconscious with conviction until doubt has no room to live. Each repetition is a stroke on the canvas of identity. Over time, the old image fades and the new one emerges, one of power, clarity, and control. The mind will resist at first. Old patterns will whisper, "This is impossible." Ignore them. Continue the practice. Persistence is the proof of faith. The subconscious learns through insistence. If you persist for 30 days without fail, observing, directing, detaching, and affirming, you will find that your mind obeys with increasing ease. Then, and only then, will you begin to experience true freedom, the calm power of deliberate thought, the quiet authority of emotional detachment, the certainty that no external event can disturb your peace. You will become the cause of your conditions, not their effect. This is not mysticism, it is mental law. Your outer world is the reflection of your inner vibration. Change the vibration, and the reflection must change. When your mind is steady, your path is straight. When your emotion is calm, your energy is concentrated. When your purpose is definite, your success is inevitable. Therefore, for the next 30 days, live as a mental scientist. Observe yourself, discipline your thoughts, guard your speech, direct your energy, affirm your purpose, and detach from the noise of emotion. If you fall, begin again. If you falter, correct instantly, for every moment of awareness is progress. Every second of mastery compounds. At the end of 30 days, you will no longer be the same. You will not be ruled by moods or defeated by circumstance. You will no longer be tossed between desire and doubt. You will have discovered the still point of power, the inner command that creates outward order. This is the promise of the disciplined mind. Peace in motion, clarity in chaos, power in silence. Once you have tasted it, you will never again trade it for comfort, approval, or distraction. You will know what few ever learn, that freedom is not found in the world, but in mastery over the self. And once you possess that mastery, success becomes inevitable, for nothing can stand against the mind that commands itself. Calmness is power in its most refined form. It is not weakness, it is control. When the mind is calm, it sees farther, judges clearer, and acts with precision. The undisciplined mistake agitation for energy and frenzy for drive, but noise has never built empires. True power moves in silence. The calm man governs himself first, and the world follows his order. He does not rush, he radiates direction. He has learned that emotion, ungoverned, is a thief. It steals time, energy, and judgment. But when emotion is governed, it becomes a servant. It drives action, fuels vision, and sharpens will. You must learn the law of calmness, for without it, all discipline collapses. Calmness is the pause between stimulus and response, the space where power lives. Most people react immediately and regret eternally. The wise delay reaction, gather reason, and then respond from strength. The difference between reaction and response is the difference between chaos and creation. Reaction is automatic. Response is deliberate. Reaction belongs to the animal. Response belongs to the master. Train yourself daily to remain still under pressure. When others speak harshly, do not rush to defend yourself. When plans crumble, do not collapse with them. When outcomes fail, do not curse the moment. Breathe, watch, think, choose. This is mastery in motion. In that pause, the universe bends toward your command. Calmness cannot be faked. It is born of understanding the deep, knowing that nothing external can truly harm you unless you consent to it. The moment you believe that circumstances must dictate emotion, you surrender control. But when you realize that emotion is always a choice, you reclaim sovereignty. Peace of mind is not a gift, it is a discipline. During these 30 days, make calmness your daily practice. Begin the day with stillness and end it with reflection. Do not run to your duties until you have aligned your mind. Do not close your eyes at night until you have examined your reactions. Ask yourself, Where did I remain calm? Where did I surrender to emotion? This nightly audit refines awareness. Each day, you will see progress, subtle but profound, until calmness becomes your nature rather than your effort. Understand that calmness and confidence are twins. The man who is calm appears confident even when silent. The man who is frantic appears weak even when loud. People instinctively follow composure. They sense order. They trust direction. Calmness, therefore, is influence, the invisible magnetism of self-control. The next principle is command of the subconscious. You cannot control the outer world without first directing the inner one. The subconscious mind is the executor of all belief, the faithful servant that manifests what the conscious mind impresses upon it. But like any servant, it must be trained through repetition and emotion. Whatever you think with feeling becomes instruction. Each thought you repeat is a seed, and emotion is the water that feeds it. If you dwell on fear, fear multiplies. If you dwell on faith, faith expands. The subconscious knows no logic, only obedience. It accepts your most dominant emotion as truth and organizes your actions to match it. That is why detachment is vital, because the detached man is not swept away by emotional extremes. His thoughts remain deliberate, his vibration steady, and his subconscious receives only ordered instruction. You are, in truth, always programming yourself. Every internal statement, every mood, every image you hold is a command. Ask yourself daily, what am I impressing upon my mind right now? If it is doubt, replace it. If it is anger, redirect it. If it is faith, strengthen it. Your subconscious is soil. It does not judge the seed. It only grows what you plant. To reprogram yourself, you must use the deliberate method of autosuggestion. Choose affirmations that express mastery and repeat them morning and night with calm conviction. I am in full control of my thoughts. My emotions obey my will. I think clearly. I act decisively. I remain unmoved by circumstances. Say these not as pleas, but as commands. The subconscious responds to authority, not to begging. Consistency is the key. The first few days will feel mechanical. Persist. The subconscious yields only to persistence. After 2 weeks, you will notice an inner shift, a quiet certainty replacing old doubt, a clarity beneath the noise, a detachment where once there was turmoil. By the 30th day, you will begin to experience the mental stillness that precedes genius. Now we come to the art of transmutation, the conversion of emotion into power. Emotion is energy in motion. Left uncontrolled, it burns without purpose. Directed by will, it becomes the driving force behind every great achievement. Fear transmuted becomes alertness. Anger transmuted becomes determination. Desire transmuted becomes creation. The mind that knows how to convert feeling into fuel commands limitless strength. To practice transmutation, first recognize emotion as it arises. Do not suppress it, redirect it. When frustration builds, channel it into work. When loneliness surfaces, channel it into study. When anxiety whispers, channel it into preparation. Energy must move, direct its current. The secret is not resistance, but reorientation. Think of emotion as electricity. Uncontrolled, it shocks and destroys. Controlled, it lights cities. The wise do not deny emotion, they master its voltage. They regulate their internal current through thought. You too must become an engineer of feeling, turning every surge into service. As your detachment deepens, emotions will no longer dictate your direction. You will feel them fully, but respond only by design. This is not coldness. It is creative intelligence. The calm man is not emotionless. He is emotionally precise. He knows when to speak, when to wait, when to strike, and when to remain still. His composure is not the absence of passion, but the mastery of it. When you achieve this balance, life transforms. Opportunities once unseen reveal themselves. People begin to trust your presence. Challenges that once overwhelmed now become laboratories of growth. You begin to sense that you are not reacting to life, you are orchestrating it. Remember, control is not domination, it is harmony. You are not forcing the mind, you are aligning it. The disciplined mind is not rigid, it is responsive, like a well-tuned instrument. The slightest thought produces music rather than noise. That is the goal of these 30 days, to tune yourself until every note of thought resonates with purpose. And as the days advance, you will see cause and effect unfold with mathematical precision. Each calm thought yields clarity. Each controlled emotion yields efficiency. Each disciplined action yields momentum. The outer world begins to mirror the order of your inner one. You become, quite literally, the architect of experience. If you persist, you will awaken one morning and realize that what once controlled you now obeys you. Moods will fade quickly, reactions will dissolve, distractions will lose their gravity. You will have crossed the threshold from chaos to command. You will be living as few ever lived, deliberate, detached, directed. From this point forward, no setback can truly defeat you, for you will see its cause within and adjust. No insult can injure you, for you will recognize it as noise beneath your awareness. No failure can paralyze you, for you will understand that failure is simply feedback data for refinement. Control of the mind does not make life easier. It makes you greater than ease. It does not remove challenges. It removes confusion. It does not eliminate emotion. It elevates it. When you control your mind, you enter a state of conscious creation where purpose replaces panic and clarity replaces conflict. Every day of discipline adds another layer of strength. Each victory over impulse compounds. Each calm decision carves new neural paths of certainty. Continue for 30 days, and you will no longer depend on the world to give you direction. You will have become self-propelled, self-contained, self-governing. That is the meaning of mastery, to stand in the center of one's own consciousness and know deeply, immovably, that nothing outside can dictate what happens within. Action is the proof of mastery. Until thought becomes movement, discipline is incomplete. The mind governs destiny, but only through expression. The controlled thought must issue into decisive action, or its power evaporates. The world rewards those who act from principle, not those who wait for perfect timing. To master your mind is to master your initiative to act, not react, to create, not comply. Personal initiative is the visible signature of the invisible order within. When your inner world is calm, your outer actions become bold. When emotion no longer clouds your judgment, your decisions strike with precision. Initiative means that you move while others doubt, that you lead while others linger. The man who has mastered his mind does not wait for permission, for he understands that permission is the refuge of the hesitant. He studies reality, decides, and acts detached from outcome but loyal to principle. If you examine every great achievement in history, you will find this same order of cause and effect. First, mental discipline. Second, emotional control. Third, decisive initiative. The mind conceives, the emotion fuels, the will executes. When all three align under command, success becomes a law, not a gamble. But the average man acts only when emotion urges him. He works when he feels inspired, quits when he feels tired, speaks when he feels anger, and apologizes when he feels regret. His life is a pendulum swung by mood. The master, however, acts from decision, not emotion. He knows that inspiration follows motion, not the other way around. Discipline creates its own enthusiasm. In this final phase of mastery, you must learn to move first. Begin your work before you feel ready. Speak the truth before it feels comfortable. Persist when the mood has vanished. Every time you act independently of emotion, you strengthen your inner authority. You are teaching your mind to obey reason, not impulse. Each act of initiative is a declaration of sovereignty. There is a sacred calm that surrounds the man who acts deliberately. He does not need to rush because he has already decided. He does not panic because he knows the law of cause and effect, that each thought, each step, each controlled decision creates a chain of events that must, by natural law, lead to its logical end. This understanding eliminates fear, for fear is born of ignorance of cause. The disciplined man knows that he cannot fail as long as he acts from the right cause. To cultivate initiative, begin each day by identifying the single most important task aligned with your purpose. Attack it immediately. Do not wait for ease or enthusiasm. Begin and the mind will follow. This single habit acting immediately separates masters from mediocrities. Indecision is decay. Decisiveness is creation. Every delay poisons momentum. The more you decide, the more capable you become of deciding. Initiative also means responsibility. You must assume complete ownership of your mental state. Do not allow yourself the luxury of excuses. Blame is the language of the undisciplined. The moment you say, "They made me angry," or "That distracted me," you have surrendered your crown. Nothing outside of you has the right to command what happens inside of you unless you give it that right. Control begins with absolute accountability. For 30 days, refuse every excuse. When frustration arises, say, "I allowed this reaction." When laziness tempts you, say, "I chose this delay." When doubt whispers, say, "I created this uncertainty." This language shifts power back to you. Ownership is the root of authority. You cannot command what you blame. Through consistent practice, you will find a transformation occurring within you. Your emotions will become quieter, your thoughts clearer, your actions more deliberate. You will begin to experience a sense of internal order, the peace that comes from knowing that every movement, every word, every response is born from consciousness rather than compulsion. This is the state Hill referred to as organized thinking. It is the rare capacity to hold one's mind steady upon a single purpose until the outer world conforms to it. It is not intensity that makes great men, it is steadiness. The fire of passion burns quickly. The furnace of discipline endures for life. When you have achieved inner steadiness, you no longer need to prove your strength. The calmness of your presence becomes evidence enough. People will sense your balance. They will trust your direction without knowing why. Authority born of self-command is silent yet irresistible. This stillness is the summit of emotional detachment, not coldness but composure. You have not killed emotion, you have crowned it. The mind and the heart now move as one instrument under your direction. You can feel deeply without losing judgment. You can act passionately without losing precision. You can endure opposition without losing peace. The final law of control is detachment from outcome. You must act with full intention and zero dependency. This is the paradox of mastery, total commitment without emotional bondage. The undisciplined act only when they are guaranteed reward. The disciplined act because right action is its own reward. The detached man gives his best and lets the universe handle the rest. Detach from results and you free your energy. Attachment breeds anxiety because it places your peace outside of yourself. Detachment releases power because it centers peace within. You still work, plan, and strive, but you do so without desperation. You act from fullness, not from lack. You give because you have already claimed. This is the highest form of success, to engage fully without needing anything in return, to be calm in the face of uncertainty, focused in the face of chaos, and patient in the face of delay. The detached mind is the free mind, and the free mind is the creative mind. Each day of practice brings you closer to this mastery. By the 30th day, you will no longer chase emotions. They will obey you. You will not need to motivate yourself. You will act by design. You will not fear the unknown. You will trust your own clarity. Then you will understand that true power is invisible. It is not noise, not status, not display. It is order. It is the silent, disciplined thought that shapes destiny. The world may not see your 30 days of inner work, but it will feel the change in your presence. You will speak less, but with more weight. You will act less frantically, but with greater effect. You will have become cause rather than consequence. Remember, the mind is a workshop, not a wilderness. Every thought you allow to enter begins a construction. Every emotion you allow to linger sets a foundation. Every belief you repeat builds a wall or a door. For 30 days, you have rebuilt yourself from the inside out. You have replaced reaction with response, confusion with clarity, doubt with discipline. The structure stands now, and it will endure as long as you maintain it. This control is not a finish line. It is a new beginning. You are now equipped to live as few ever do, calmly, deliberately, effectively. You have learned that success is not found in the world, but drawn from within. That peace is not a condition, but a command. That emotion is not an enemy, but an instrument. Carry this awareness forward. Continue your discipline beyond the 30 days. for mastery deepens with practice. Each moment of awareness refines your control. Each act of composure fortifies your will. Each day of detachment expands your freedom. And when you look back upon your life, you will see that every triumph, every opportunity, every moment of peace began here in the quiet decision to take full control of your mind. For he who commands his mind commands his fate. When the 30 days are over, you will not return to who you were. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You will sense a quiet authority within you, a calm command that no applause can inflate and no insult can diminish. You will have discovered what few ever do, that freedom is not granted by the world but built within. You will no longer wake as a victim of mood, but as the architect of motion. You will move with purpose, not pressure, with clarity, not chaos, with faith, not fear. For you will have proven, through discipline and deliberate thought, that the mind is not your enemy but your instrument. Emotion will serve you, not sabotage you. Circumstance will obey you, not bind you. You will no longer need to chase success, for success will move toward the vibration of your steadiness. The world will feel your stillness, and it will bend to it. And on that day, when you stand calm amid the storm, focused amid the noise, decisive amid the doubt, you will understand the final truth of all greatness, that he who masters himself masters all. So let this be your command, from this moment forward, to work harder on your mind than on your circumstance, harder on your discipline than on your reputation, harder on your inner world than on your outer gain. For when you take full control of your mind, you take full command of life itself. When the 30 days are over, you will not return to who you were. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You will sense a quiet authority within you, a calm command that no applause can inflate and no insult can diminish. You will have discovered what few ever do, that freedom is not granted by the world but built within. You will no longer wake as a victim of mood, but as the architect of motion. You will move with purpose, not pressure, with clarity, not chaos, with faith, not fear. For you will have proven, through discipline and deliberate thought, that the mind is not your enemy but your instrument. Emotion will serve you, not sabotage you. Circumstance will obey you, not bind you. You will no longer chase success, for success will move toward the vibration of your steadiness. The world will feel your stillness, and it will bend to it. And on that day, when you stand calm amid the storm, focused amid the noise, decisive amid the doubt, you will understand the final truth of all greatness, that he who masters himself masters all. From that moment forward, every sunrise will meet a different version of you, the one who no longer prays for easy days but commands his inner weather, the one who no longer needs external validation because he carries approval from within, the one who no longer asks, "Will life favor me?" because he knows that life has no choice but to favor the disciplined. You will have become a living law unto yourself, silent, steady, unshakable. Fear will see you and retreat. Doubt will whisper and fade. The same storms that once drowned you will now push your sails forward, for you will have learned how to turn resistance into wind. The power that once scattered will now strike as lightning, precise, controlled, unstoppable. You will walk into the same world, but nothing will look the same, because your perception will have changed. You will no longer see problems, only patterns, no longer see chaos, only cause and effect, no longer see limitation, only levels of mastery waiting to be claimed. You will meet life not as a struggler, but as a sculptor shaping destiny with the chisel of discipline, and others will wonder what secret you possess. They will see calm in your eyes and feel command in your silence. They will sense the presence of a person who has done the impossible, who has taken full control of his mind. So let this be the law that governs you from this day forth. You are the master of your thoughts, the commander of your emotions, and the architect of your destiny. Do not beg the world to change. Become the cause of change. Do not plead for luck. Prepare your mind until fortune must obey it. Do not shrink from adversity. Transmute it into momentum. Let no hour pass in weakness. No day drift in reaction. Stand firm in discipline, act with decision, and move through life with the stillness of a conqueror. For the mind, once mastered, becomes the throne of power, the seat of peace, the very voice of creation. And when you reach that place, that rare invisible summit where thought bows to will and emotion kneels to reason, you will have achieved the only victory that cannot be stolen, mastery over self. From that peak, you will not shout your greatness. You will radiate it. Every word you speak will carry weight. Every movement will express intention. Every silence will hold authority. You will have joined the few who live above fear, beyond chaos, outside the reach of circumstance. So rise now not in noise, but in knowing. Take command of the instrument that shapes worlds. For the one who controls his mind controls his fate, and the one who controls his fate controls his future. That future begins the moment you decide to own your inner world. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. This is the hour of mastery. This is the moment of command. This is where the old self ends and the sovereign self begins. And when you walk out from this decision, remember this truth that he who masters the mind masters life, and that mastery, once achieved, makes you unstoppable.